I'm Drew with the Jeep Farm. Thanks for watching this video. Today we're going to highlight a really cool build, this 1969 Jeep Gladiator J4000. This truck is out of California. It was a pretty rust-free truck, originally white and teal. The owner, Jerry, reached out to me and said, I've got this cool old truck. I kind of want to modernize it and, you know, make it look better. So he sent it to us about 3 years ago. We did a complete frame-off nut and bolt build on this truck. Keeping a lot of the original truck was kind of the goal, but to add a few modern touches to it, which I'm going to go over here in a minute. But I want to give you guys a gist. We'll break down the build for you, and thanks for watching. So I'm going to start with the overall condition of the truck we started with, paint and body. So the truck, again, Southern California truck, really clean, had some rust in the floors as they all did. Pulled the body off, pulled the bed off, bed lined underneath, bed lined under the bed, bed lined inside the bed, all colored match. This is actually a 2021 Toyota color. The owner really wanted to do something different. I was really set on it looking 70s. He sent me the color, I questioned it, but I think it looks freaking amazing. I mean, total 70s blue. We had it custom pinstripe by Tony here in Phoenix, as well as the tailgate work. A little bit of work straightening up the fenders and body, but otherwise it was a really nice truck we started with. The owner of this truck wanted to keep most of its originalness. We did do some changes. This has the original Buick 350. When Kaiser owned Jeep, they had none of their own motors. So Kaiser bought all their motors from Buick. The full-size Jeeps getting 350 Buick motors, the smaller ones getting the Dauntless V6. This is a stock rebuild 350, TA performance intake, Phytec fuel injection, Davis distributor. This was an original AC truck. It was actually highly optioned with bucket seats and some other stuff. But we added a modern compressor, aluminum radiator, Hydro Boost brake, you know, cool little aluminum bits to kind of make it look fancy but not overbuilt. But overall, stock TH350 with a small shift kit, the original Dana 20 transfer case. It's got Buick torque. I mean, the thing will screw. It's great, runs good, sharp, snappy, has no problem going down the highway. And I'm kind of glad we stuck with the Buick. We do a lot of LS conversions, but this truck is really cool with the original Buick motor. So the owner of the truck wanted it a little more aggressive than the factory, you know, little skinny 235s or 265s. What we did is we re-arched the original front springs because the early J 3/4 ton trucks, there's no aftermarket lift kits available for them. This also has, as you'll know, some of you know, that these have a factory sway bar in the front that's tied into the U-bolts. Really cool, but took a little work to make it work right. So front rebuilt springs, rear rebuilt springs. These are 305 70/17 Toyos on 17-inch, 1710 US mag wheels. Perfect mix of modern and old school. This front axle is actually out of a 77 Chevy 3/4 ton pickup. The reason we did that is so that we could get open knuckle and disc brake. These originally were closed knuckle drum axles. You know, 44s, not that great. Same track width, it's pretty much a bolt-in deal. And if you're working on any of these trucks, it's the cheapest way to get disc brakes in the front and modernize the front end. And another cool thing is Chevy ran the exact same gear ratio, 373s, as Jeep did back in the day. So we just rebuilt the axles. We didn't even need to re-gear them. The rear is the original 60 from the truck. We added disc brakes, again, Hydro Boost, Bilstein shocks. Runs and drives great. It's still a little bit of a lumber wagon, but that's the way they were back in the day, and you feel like you're driving a big old truck. But she'll run down the highway, 70, 80, AC full tilt, and it is just an awesome driving rig. So I wanted to put a little topic here on the rear. A couple cool things here. I wanted to show you the custom pinstriping we did on the tailgate, as well as a custom lettering by Tony here in Phoenix. Tony's Pinstripe, killer dude. These Jeeps had various rear bumpers. This rear bumper was an old rusty factory installed rear bumper. Those Jeep guys that know will remember it. It actually kind of ran down the side right here and bolted to the fender. The owner didn't want that look, so I was like, well, let me mess with it and see what you think. So we cut it, capped it off, chrome plated it, but again, Southern California truck, somebody had welded a hole here and had little tailpipes coming out for the exhaust out the hole, which didn't really fit the build of the truck, but there was no real way to cut this out and line up the diamond plate marks to make it look right. So we put little LED backup lights in there. I think it kind of gave it a cool touch, and we were able to use the rear bumper and have it all chromed, and I think it really makes the truck pop. So one of the things we do on most all our builds, including CJs, we do color match bed liner in the bed of CJs as well in the bed of our trucks and underneath. So under the bed, under the cab, the inner wheel wells, depending on whether you want them black or bed lined, we do all color match bed liners. So that's actually this color mixed in with a clear bed liner to protect the underside and the bed, because he will use this truck. This was actually a highly optioned truck, one of the few that I've seen with this many options. So it's got the factory buckets, factory console. Some of them had 2 to 3 lights down here. This has the full 4, which show 2-wheel drive, neutral, 4-wheel drive, and 4 low. We actually rewired that, put new bulbs in there, and new little triggers on the transfer case, so they all work as needed. Cleaned up the factory AC to keep the vintage look. This has the factory clock. This is a retro radio we put in. It's got 6x9s, it's got 5 1/4s here, a subwoofer and an amp. Stitched the factory steering wheel. You can see the blue steering. We had to fix all the cracks. These are all cracked always. Stitched the seats the same with the blue in here. Got a little creative with it. We removed the parking brake because of the rear disc brake conversion, and one of the things I've started doing, well, have for a while, is I use what's called a swage lock. So you just mash the brake pedal, turn that like that, hydraulically locks the rear brakes. There's your parking brake. It's not electrically actuated, and it holds. I've got them in my rock crawler. I love them. This over here is the controller for the subwoofer. Heats work, vents work, AC works. I like the dash to look original. I don't want it all cluttered with a bunch of stuff. So anybody that's owned a Jeep knows the factory gauges suck. So inside the glove box, we add some altimeters in here for oil pressure and water temp. The controller is also in there for the Phytech, which has full gauge array, control of fuel injection. There's USB ports. There's your iPhone jack or Android jack to run the retro radio. You can see the back of the factory clock. Just overall, just a great place to sit and drive. Feels like a truck, rides like a truck. Just modern tunes. You can't do any better than that. Wrapping up this video, I wanted to show you a couple cool little things that hopefully you noticed. We painted all the emblems to match the truck and got rid of the original Jeep, the orange and gold that would have been during the Kaiser era. Also, this Jeep was painted at the Paint Farm. It's another company that I own. We do all my vintage Jeeps for the Jeep Farm at the Paint Farm, as well as other vintage cars if you're interested. Again, I wanted to say thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Check out my website, www.thejeepfarm.com or thepaintfarmllc.com. And just keep on Jeeping, man. I appreciate it.